Hello there. They call me Paradigm. Darth Paradigm. I hope everyone's been having a really enjoyable and relaxing weekend. So, let's review my Maul saber. This is a saber produced by LG Toys for quite a few distributors currently in the United States. And I purchased mine from Custom Darkwolf Sabers, and it has one kind of unique aspect to it over the versions produced by or sold by other companies such as Rebel Sabers or Crimson Dawn. What you get is you get your two hilts. I'll just show you really quickly, what one of the hilts looks like. It's a fingerprint magnet. Sorry, I didn't clean it off because you needed to see that it is a fingerprint magnet. But it's a very beautiful pair of hilts nonetheless. Each one is 10.5 inches in length and essentially identical. This is the darker version. There's a lighter version. I had seen mention that a lot of people thought that the darker version was too dark, but I find it to be just perfect for me. I want something a little bit different. So we'll put that one out to the side because we only really need to see one of them in order to do this review until I couple the two together. And then I'm going to do a separate video where I take everything apart and show you how to recharge the hilt, because like I said, this has one unique aspect to it that differentiates it from the other versions of the same hilt that are on the market. But anyway, like I said, you get the two hilts. You get a coupler. There's your coupler. Okay. You get a recharge cable, a really good quality recharge cable. And of course it comes with a pair of Allen keys and enough blade retention screws and bits like that to replace anything that's missing. You don't get replacement greebles. So the thing that differentiates this hilt is all of the versions that are available have essentially two sets of buttons here. This is the in-hilt LED version of this saber, so it doesn't utilize that button. It just uses that button. That's the main button that controls all functions of the saber. These two buttons, even though they are responsive, are dummy switches. This button right here, though a dummy switch, is usually a recharge port. This saber, because it came from Custom Darkwolf Sabers, actually has a dummy switch here rather than the recharge port. But the recharge port is actually there. There's a process of actually removing the chassis to gain access to the recharge port, which is why I'm going to be doing a second video. As far as the functionality of the saber, it basically works as most LG Toys hilts do. The sabers that you would get from Rebel Sabers and Crimson Dawn and many other companies kind of function all the same. They have color changing, which cycles through kind of the full spectrum of colors. 6 sound fonts, volume control, and a flicker rate. Now, on most of my Crimson Dawn sabers, this button would be backlit, and you can see pulses that kind of count out 1 second, 2 second, 3 second, which really help to facilitate changing the blade colors and selecting the different blade effects, which include, you have a stable blade, an unstable blade, and a pulse. And that's basically where that's limited to. And you can also control the volume from completely muted to low volume to high volume. Other than changing the sound fonts, it's a little bit tricky without that pulse to get the timing down. And I currently have the blade set to red, so I'm not really going to be doing the color changing or a lot of the different effects here. I may do a separate video for that, but it's kind of something that I think most of you have actually seen often. So to boot up the hilt, you just hold this. And you've heard that often. It's sort of a, it's a common refrain from this type of saber. You can actually turn the saber on while that music is playing and just skip it. So the hilt comes with the package comes with two 32-inch blades. And as you can see, I have it set to a red with a pulse. And I'm using the Kylo Ren font because I believe it's the most dark side font that sort of fits the Darth Maul ethos. So you have flash on clash, blaster block, and lockup. Now the best thing to do when you're powering the saber down and putting it into deep sleep mode is to actually, while the blade is on, you'll want to hold the button and keep holding it until you hear the
resistance is dead. The war is over.
You hear Kylo Ren tell you that, well, what he just said. And that basically puts the saber into deep sleep mode. Now, as I said, there's a process to taking the hilt apart, and I'll actually go through I think I'll go through the effects when I take the hilt apart, because that gains access to the inner chassis, and there is actually a backlit button, and I can show you how all the different effects work. It's much easier when you can see the pulses and when you can actually time things out, and so I'll do it at that point. So like I said, that'll be a separate video. So as far as attaching these together, it's a simple matter of screwing the connector on. Now you can put the connector either way onto the hilt. The thing that's sort of a little bit weird is the alignment. It's really difficult to get the switches to align. They either align this way or that way. The performance of your saber may vary based on the threading, but it's pretty consistently not going to line up unless you want to get a timing ring or whatever they're called. I forget what they're called. Let's see if we can get this thing to go together. Now, this thing is a really solid piece of aluminum, and it is very well made, and it is very, very long. So swinging it indoors is not recommended. When you consider that the blades are 32 inches, and the combined hilt is almost 32 inches, you're talking over 90 inches of saber here. And you can see that the switches here and here don't really line up. So if I were to disassemble it and reverse the connector, this is very round and very likely to want to roll away. You can see that the alignment is not that much better. it will always be off. So that's kind of something that you need to be aware of regarding this particular hilt, unless you have a timing shim or whatever. You know, the little rings that you can actually insert in here. They're of set thicknesses that allow you to incrementally insert rings to get them to line up. If it's that important to you, you can pick up some of those. You know, for instance, Saberforge sells those, and more likely the Custom Saber Shop sells them, and they're not very expensive. Anyway, so to turn the saber on, you can hold the buttons simultaneously. And then you can do the thing that Darth Maul did when he first ignited his saber in Phantom Menace. You do one side, and then the other side. Now, when the saber is coupled together, it's not quite as loud. The vents are very, very small, and even though the sound is doubled up, it's not nearly as loud. It's a modestly heavy piece, but not so heavy that you can't swing it around. Everything's pretty smooth. There's nothing particularly sharp. The greebles actually kind of have. Excuse me one second. I just need to move something really quick. Ugh. Poor planning on my part. Yeah, my cat's here as well. What was I saying? Yeah, the greebles are kind of, the ones that are painted feel almost rubbery, but they're basically just painted aluminum. But they're not sharp. The edges aren't sharp. The little grill sections here, there's nothing on them that's particularly sharp. The finishing on the saber is very well done, and you'll find that if you're skilled at wielding a dual light or a double-bladed staff, which I am not. I have no particular skill in it. This is just basically for me a novelty. I wanted to have a Darth Maul staff in my collection. I predominantly will use this as just a single saber, and so that's where we are going. That's the direction we're going next, because you can only really use one of these at a time. You can Jarkai it. You can actually dual wield this. I have attempted that. Of course, now I know where to put this. All right, so we'll just bunk, drop it on the floor. Yeah, the hilt is very comfortable. Obviously, the absence of a pommel kind of, it's a little bit, it has an odd feel to it. But I find that this is light enough and wieldy enough. You can actually do spins. It is rather comfortable. It is a little bit short for two-handed. It's a much better one-handed hilt, but let's see. I did a video where I sort of spun this around a little bit. It was actually connected to another video. If I can manage to get myself outside late tonight, I might do a nighttime LED performance video of it. Just bear in mind, like I said, I have no particular skill with a saber staff. I'm more of a swordsman. Staffs aren't really something I've trained at. So, yeah. So let me just give you the view. There you go. This is a really rather well constructed a really, really, really well constructed pair of hilts. They came individually wrapped in boxes, and they were very nicely packaged. The boxes are reusable. You can store these in here. Obviously, if you have an appropriate rag, you can keep this all fingerprint free. They would make lovely display pieces. There's just so many different versions of the Maul hilt, and I had actually seen this one quite a while ago, and it just it really really appealed to me, both the price point and the obvious quality, the shininess, the finish. It looked realistic enough for me, at the price that I kind of skipped all the other companies that offer these. I don't really need anything more elaborate than this, um, so I'm quite pleased with it. So like I said, I'm gonna have another video where I'm gonna take all this apart. I'm gonna remove all the pieces, take out the chassis, remove the blade, show you the programming and everything. Um, these greebles actually hold the chassis in place, so I'll show you all that. But like I said, that'll be in a second video. So yeah, what do I think of this? It's definitely a bargain for the price. Generally speaking, this costs about $300 from most companies. Um, I didn't pay that much. This was on sale at Custom Darkwolf Sabers for $210, so I immediately pulled the trigger, and I have no regrets. It's a very very um, very good quality Maul hilt. Of course, like I said, this is the in-hilt LED version. There is a NeoPixel version. I didn't feel a need for that. I got enough NeoPixel sabers in my life, and it's getting to the point where one has to think about the cost effectiveness of what you're buying and what you want. I mean, if you want a NeoPixel, um, Maul saber, and Maul's your absolute favorite character in all the world, maybe the Corbanth version is the one for you. So I mean, you have to kind of pick and choose what you want based on how much value you're going to get out of it. Anyway, so that's going to end this part of the video, and I hope you found it informative. Just keep an eye out for part 2. I'll probably end up doing that, within the next couple days, or that's when the video will be released. So if you have any questions, please feel free to go ahead and comment, and I'll do my best to answer your comments. And subscribe. That would be extremely helpful. I'm approaching 1,000. And I'm really excited about that. Even, it's just not something that I really expected. So I do appreciate everyone out there for your support. You guys have been really awesome, and I'm very fortunate to be part of this community. I think it's sort of helping everyone get through a lot of tough times. The world's become a dark place, and we all have to kind of support each other and show each other the love. So yeah, anyway, so I've rambled on. Go ahead and like or dislike, based on what you've seen here, and I'll have more content for you guys tomorrow. All right, hope everyone has a wonderful rest of the weekend. My love to you all, and as always, may the force be with you always. Take care now. Bye, y'all.